Austria's top bishop is praising so-called gay marriage. Vienna Cardinal Christoph Schönborn told the German magazine last week that same-sex marriages affirm the goodness of marriage. The pro-gay cardinal said, quote, "I personally am moved that at a time where marriage is losing its attraction, those couples who feel and live out a same-sex attraction yearn to have the highest form of partnership," end quote. Schönborn has scandalized faithful Austrian Catholics by allowing gay-themed prayer services in his cathedral, featuring homosexual activists speaking from the pulpit.
An Austrian cardinal is being slammed for allowing desecration of his cathedral. Catholics are blasting Cardinal Christoph Schönborn for hosting a charity concert at St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna last week, featuring a shirtless pro-gay actor dancing to rock music on the communion rail, flanked by actors dressed as demons. One Austrian priest said, quote, "We do not fear the Almighty anymore. We trample upon the souls that are entrusted to us."
In a lecture in Milan, Italy, Schönborn praised himself for having defended a cohabiting homosexual member of a Vienna parish council. Schönborn described the member and his unchaste partner as, quote, "two pure young men."
We are blessed this afternoon to have Cardinal Schönborn with us, and he is one of the key drivers really behind the Amoris Laetitia.
Io vi raccomando a tutti voi di leggere la presentazione che ha fatto il Cardinale Schönborn, che è un grande teologo.
Yeah, 305, where Pope Francis says, because of forms of conditioning and mitigating factors, it is possible that in an objective situation of sin, which may not be subjectively culpable, or fully such, a person can be living in God's grace, can love and can also grow in the life of grace and charity while receiving the Church's help to this end. And here he has in the footnote only this little word: in certain cases this can include the help of the sacraments. And then Joseph Ratzinger, who became my teacher, and since then I know him for 42 years now, and in confession I can say the first thing he said to me after the election in 2005, when he was elected Pope, he said, "Let us keep our friendship." It's really a great privilege to have known him and to have worked with him. Pope Benedict often said, "The Church does not grow by proselytizing, but by attraction." I think that we will not be judged about our religion, but about the question, what did you do for the needs of justice in the world? What did you do for the hungry in the world? What did you do for the refugees? What have you done for the ecological needs of our planet?
I do not dare to say that I had a personal friendship with Emmanuel Levinas, but I was his student for 4 years. But I sat, so to say, at his feet every fortnight when he came to give his lectures, and specifically his lecture on rabbinic exegesis.
And for everybody, it applies what he said in Evangelii Gaudium. We must take off our shoes before the sacred ground of the other. It's the biblical image of Moses taking off his shoes for the sacred ground of God's presence. God's presence in every person. Take off the shoes before the sacred ground of the other.
But we met again, and I said, "Ayatollah, on your face, I see radiant the joy of your pilgrimage." And then he was very moved and said, "I will pray for you in Mecca."
We have no guarantee that Europe will escape from what is a reality that many in the Islamic world consider Europe as a mature fruit for a takeover by Islam. It's a fact. And we have not to blame them because they are convinced that they do something good according to God's will, doing so, taking over. I will never forget when I saw the first time Buddhists praying in their temple. When I entered the first time a mosque and saw the prayer in the mosque. Of course, some people in the world deny the existence of the divine, and we have to respect their conscience and their conviction. John 15:15. So those who know the Bible by heart may know what is my motto. It's when Jesus said in the upper room, I do not call you any longer slaves, servants, but I call you friends. So I took it in Latin, vos autem dixi amicos. I have called you friends. That's my motto.